This was the scene at Lubigi Wetland in May, when hundreds of former soldiers, commonly referred to as veterans, took to the wetland to distribute plots to themselves and set up stores in the vegetation. Police later evicted them, but the veterans had already destroyed the wetland after slashing down all the papyrus and other swamp grasses that had been here for ages. But the wetland is different today, and signs of restoration are visible in the previously endangered resource that is one of the few left in the urban area. Efforts are being made by the National Environment Management Authority (NEMA), which is the supervising, regulatory and coordinating body in charge of wetlands, to revamp its shine and its purpose to the ecosystem.
Anybody who goes into a wetland and carries out activities without permission from NEMA are illegal, and that was the case with Lubigi Wetland. A group of people came from where nobody knows and encroached on Lubigi, cut down papyrus, and they started building a permit. So that changed the nature of the wetland.
The once besieged Lubigi swamp is now regenerating with young papyrus shoots and grass growing again, although patches of bare ground are still evident. The regeneration, which had appeared to be close to impossible, has seen water collect again in the wetland after it dried up because there was no vegetation to hold the soggy soil. The wetland vegetation is left to grow over time and get back its natural state, which restores the wetland's full ecological purpose and nature. But how should this process proceed?
An environmental approach would require that you also look at others that are like it, and that may be connected with it horizontally or through space. But we are not doing that.
Wetlands occur when the water table is high, and this is where the water bonds with soil particles until the soil is saturated near the surface. The water is then picked up by the plant roots and is either chemically converted into more plant or moves through the leaves back into the atmosphere. It is in wetlands where the water table breaks through to the soil surface. Wetlands produce and recycle huge amounts of plant and animal life, much of which is passed onto adjacent land and water habitats. But there are fears that the Lubigi wetland restoration could serve no purpose, since part of it is now under reclamation for a water and sewage waste treatment plant.
They say that development must come before environment, and I've not heard them change it. So if there is an attempt to restore Lubigi, it is being restored within that context. That where you restore it, the policy says development must precede environment.
However, the regulatory body NEMA that gave the go-ahead for the National Water and Sewage Corporation to set up the plant is sure it will do more good than harm to the environment.
So what's going to happen? They're going to collect all the waste from there and a greater part of Kampala, and it will go through that treatment plant, and by the time it gets out, it will be clean water which will be poured into the Lubigi system, and it will be clean water going into Lake Victoria. So it is serving actually a positive purpose and additional to what a wetland would do. It will clean the water faster than the wetland would do, so Lake Victoria will have cleaner water coming from the Lubigi wetland system.
This is one of the activities NEMA allows to take place in wetlands. They are less environmentally damaging, and some are ongoing in the wetland, now under restoration.
Fish farming, waste treatment lagoons put in wetlands, bricklaying, and fishing, harvesting papyrus to make crafts. All those activities which are permitted in wetlands, and we do give permits on request.
However, there are a few challenges to the restoration process which are not easy to overcome.
So if soil has been compacted, then the vegetation will not grow, then the animals will not thrive in that particular area. So it is quite difficult to restore what has been degraded.
Lubigi Swamp is just one in many wetlands across the country that has been rescued from human encroachment, while many others are still under siege by communities. Urban areas and developing towns are the most prone to degradation due to a rise in population and unregulated activities on wetlands. A recent study by the Ministry of Water and Environment shows that in the last 15 years, Uganda has lost about 4,000 square kilometers of wetlands to degradation. This has left the country at the risk of water shortage, floods, as well as extinction of aquatic life and biodiversity. Krikadoda, NTV, EcoTalk.